Hello everybody. So today I fancy doing a music video, or a video about music, specifically from 1999. So how did this come about? Because as I mentioned, at the moment, obviously still bearing in mind the sort of cool feedback I got when I was doing my sort of, what are people's favourite things on the channel. So bearing in mind all of that, and then alongside that, just doing stuff as the mood takes me, in terms of not sticking necessarily to a really rigid release schedule for certain days. So with that in my mind, this week it was actually, I had noticed, and I don't know when this came out, but I noticed that there had been the release of a 25-year anniversary of this album. I'm assuming it was a little bit earlier in the year, because the album was originally released in May 1999. So I'm not sure when the 25-year anniversary, and the one I'm talking about, I think there's a couple of anniversary box sets, whatever you want to call them, at least. And the one I'm thinking of is they've released like a vinyl version of this with nice coloured vinyl, and I think some extra tracks actually on it as well. I don't know if it's going to mention on here. They may not have updated this. No, because there was also a Black Sails EP which was released in April of 1999 as well. And there is, I think, on this new vinyl copy, there's an extra track from 99 which has never been released before. I didn't go into much more research on this, because this episode wasn't going to specifically be about this album, but just discovering that they'd released, reissued a vinyl version to celebrate 25 years, got me thinking about 1999, because there's a lot of cool albums came out then, and this was sort of 99 into 2000. So a lot of the albums I'm going to talk about, I said, oh yeah, I bought that around when it came out. A little bit of wiggle room there, probably 1999 into 2000. And the reason behind that is I was reading Terrorizer avidly at that point, and so what tended to happen is I'd keep an eye open on the monthly album releases, and so I was buying albums as they came out, but also some of the albums I didn't buy until they published the end of the year list for 1999, which would have been into 2000, and then I sort of infilled on stuff that I fancied buying that maybe I'd held back on. But I do remember buying this, fairly early on in that sort of album reviewing period, if you like, because a lot of this stuff, there's just no way I would have heard, I don't think, any of this on the radio. I mean, I'm not even sure if there was a version of the Friday Rock Show or a version of the Radio 1 Rock Show running at that point. There probably was, thinking about it, but I don't know how much I was listening to it, and I don't know what they were playing either, because obviously they tend to play a certain slice of stuff, and the Terrorizer stuff they were reviewing can be quite a broad church within extreme music. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure, beyond just reading album reviews in magazines, particularly Terrorizer, whether I was actually listening to any tracks before I bought the album. Because we're in the period pre any form of streaming. We were not 99. Are we really into? I'm trying to think. Like when was the era? When did Napster kick in and stuff like that? I mean, I wasn't doing Napster or anything like that anyway. But I'm just trying to think in the grand scheme of things. I was pretty. It's one of these funny things. So format wise, I was really late to the party with CDs, and didn't really start buying them until the end of the 90s. And basically around this period. So pretty much every album I'm going to talk about, bar a few, I did buy on CD. And it's interesting because at that point, I would have probably been playing a lot of the CDs on my computer, maybe. I'm just trying to think what sort of CD player I would have had at that point. I mean, I might have had like a little one of those like mini units, possibly. Yeah, it's hard to remember. But I do remember this. And if you were to ask me, for the brief period of time I was really into AFI, like what was my favourite album, it's this one. I like the slightly like harder edge to it. I mean, just to line up the releases here. So we had a couple of EPs, actually more than a couple of EPs. That's funny. What do we got here? Sing the Sorrow. So yeah, so I think for a lot of people, Sing the Sorrow might be the album that people are more aware of, because that was the one, certainly, in terms of the UK charts, that was the one that you would hear on the UK charts. The 1999 album, Black Sails in the Sunset, to give its full title. This was purely through seeing a review in Terrorizer magazine and then buying it off the strength of that. But I really do like this album. I don't think I will be buying the vinyl for this though. I obviously I have this on CD. It did end up on a number of lists. So you can see here's Metal Hammer. It was on the Terrorizer end of year list as well. It's got a hidden track on the CD. Yeah, because at this point, 99, we would have been deep in CD land. So I think the vast majority of releases were coming out on CD. I think vinyl had pretty much dried up. There's a vinyl only track here, interestingly enough, saying that. I don't know that it's always difficult to tell here, like there's no date on here, so yeah, I'm not sure. It's funny how I've always associated hidden tracks with the CD format, but I suppose you can have hidden tracks on vinyl, can't you, really? I mean, it's just the track's 13 minutes long and there's just a big gap of silence, so yeah, I suppose that's a possibility. So yeah, I'm really not sure thinking about it now I've had the time to think about it, what the formats were at that time in terms of the predominant format would have been CD. I'm just not sure how lean releases were on vinyl, but I've always associated that, into the 90s, into the 2000s as being a pretty lean year, vinyl wise, and you pick stuff up on vinyl, but I never associated it being like the primary format. And I'm not sure where we were in terms of like cassette releases, how they were holding up against everything else. This was the first album, I believe, with Jade Puget on. I think that's right. I think it actually does mention at the top. Yeah. And then the Black Sails EP was released just before that. Yeah, so that was the first official release the first release is him as an official member. Wow. I tend to forget there's all these like EPs. Just going back in their history. So, they were kicking around since 95. And moving from, like hardcore punk for the first few albums into what they're calling on here, what do they call it? Horror punk, post-hardcore. And then we sort of get this slow sort of shift, I suppose. It's interesting to see what they classify Sing the Sorrow as: post-hardcore, punk rock, emo. And then we had a compilation album. And then I remember this one, Three Bunnies, as they used to call it. Were they Three Hairs? I don't know. Yeah, December Underground. And then we get into Crash Love, which doesn't that have... What's the track on there that I really like? Maybe End Transmission. That's a good track. So by the time they got to this album, which is... Where are we? 2009. Yeah, they're very much sort of in... alternative rock, pop rock territory. So it's interesting that it's a cool band too, and it's great now in terms of the way music is now. In that you can go through the whole back catalogue and just listen to the band evolve over time. So this is definitely an interesting band to do that for, I reckon. Start off on those early hardcore albums and then just work your way through and listen to the band changing over time. And that's one thing that I noticed when I wanted to go through 1999. There's a lot of bands that I was listening to a lot of in that period where that was happening. You're at a certain point in the band's life cycle, and then there's certain bands I was listening to in extreme music were forming this really interesting sort of musical development arc, or maybe slowly moving across genres or influences. And I did a quick scroll through before I started recording this video. I didn't want to go down too deep because I'm trying to make the videos a little bit more spontaneous than they were before. So I'm trying to steel myself and not go down too many pre-production rabbit holes, so that all the rabbit holes happen during the video. And because that's what I enjoy the most when I'm doing these. It's like, oh yeah, that I remember that. And it just, you have that sort of split second remembering, which I find I lose if I spend too many dry run passes going through on these. So let's just have a nice chill out chat, muse about other albums from 1999. I do appreciate a lot of people watching these videos probably weren't necessarily listening to the music at that time, like I was as it goes along, but there's a lot of interesting stuff here. If you haven't listening to it the first time, or bands that you might be currently aware of who are actually still going, who've got interesting back catalogue around 1999. And there's a lot of albums that have gone on to, I think, be on lots of, classic 90s rock or alt rock or pop punk lists that, have come out retrospectively as well. So let's have a look. So I didn't really clue into this band at the time. They were getting written up a lot in Terrorizer, but no, I can't even remember. I don't think I've even got an album by them. I have listened to one of their albums in more the streaming age, probably in the last, 5 years, maybe less. But at the time, and I suppose, it's like anything, different environment back then. So obviously, limited resources, music-wise, environment in that. The sort of music I was listening to, the only way I could hear it was by buying it, or if a friend happened to be listening to it. A lot of it's not getting played on, daytime radio. There's no way really, I don't think at that point, of listening to it over the web. So yeah, and of course certainly back in 99 I would have been on dial-up anyway. I don't know what speed, possibly not even 56k, maybe, I don't know. Were we on 33 then? Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know what modem I had at that point. I think it must have been above 33, maybe. It's funny when you think about that though, isn't it? With broadband and fibre op and all these other things. But, yeah, another band, Nevermore. They used to get written up a lot in Terrorizer, but I never listened to them until probably the last few years, actually. Because their guitarist ended up in Arch Enemy for a period of time, so I kept thinking, I should check them out. This is an interesting album. I don't know if many people I think I've spoken about Jerusalem by Sleep. So I wasn't aware of Sleep until probably around 2006, 2007, when I was part of one of the sort of early adopters of media platform called Mog, and there was a person on there, trying to remember what their handle was, DJ Ivy, I think, and she was into, I know there was interesting combination there because I think she was into hip hop, but also like drone and drone doom. And I can remember having discussions about this band and Earth and probably Sun, I think. And not long after that, I tracked down like the what do you call it, the as intended version. So I'll include a link to the Wikipedia article here, and you can drill down through this, because this story is a video in and of itself. It was worthy of a video, but they recorded this album. Well, it's a track basically, the Dope Smoker track, and not surprisingly, the record label sort of balked the fact that it was a 63-minute track, designed for the CD age. So at some point that recording got sort of split down into multiple tracks, and that's the Jerusalem version. Now I believe, if we go back here, so there's a bit in here in the article about this sort of deadlock that occurred between the record label and the band, and off the back of whoever negotiated the deal originally being transferred and replaced. So there was a bit of volatility generally around that time, and there's these like multiple versions kicking around. So this is the version that I have. So the later one from 2003, which is the, I suppose, pushed back or put as intended, was 63 minutes long. Although my CD version does, as it says here, does have, as it says here, Sonic Titan as an additional track. Obviously, there's no way you're going to get a single track on vinyl anyway. But if you've not heard this album, it's well worth checking out. Like in its, in its Dope Smoker form. But it's an interesting story to read about. To do with the making of it as well. Was this the one where they bought? I'm trying to remember. With all the amps. Anyway, we've done a bit of a deep dive there. Excuse me. Okay, moving on. Oh yeah, this. I bought that when it came out. First Immortal album not to feature Demonaz on guitar, as he had acute tendonitis by then. That's the one with the weird photo shoot stuff in it, I think. Where there was that, what was it, a joke that Immortal were only were touring off the back of photo shoots or something? They'd have these comical like photo shots of the band in various crab poses and other things. It's a cool album though. Yeah. Demonaz did do the lyrics though for that. Oh, my favourite track is that's a pretty cool track. Right. Moving on. What else can I see here? I didn't buy this till a little bit later. So this is a Jimmy Eat World album, Clarity. I've seen this end up on sort of various, best of emo lists, stuff like that. Just as a point of reference against the sort of, popular music of the time, Fan Mail by TLC was out same year. And then we have the Slim Shady LP as well. It's funny, I mostly heard that through people playing it really loud in their cars. Because at that point I've been working for myself, so I would have been like, pulled up to traffic lights and various things on my way to see clients, and I'd hear a lot of that album playing while I was driving around, visiting clients and various other things. I think it's 99 I would have also been lecturing at college as well, so probably on my way to college. Spiritual Black Dimensions by Demi Borgia was out. Bought that sometime around when it came out, or the following year. What else have we got? I thought there was a lot more out this early on here. See if I missed anything when I went off down that holy mountain. A rabbit hole. What's Sleater Kinney album we're up to? Fourth one. Wasn't really that familiar with the band at that point in time. Underworld, yeah, okay. Godspeed was an EP in 99. Oh, that album came out, didn't it? 13 by Blur. What was the album after that then? 10-year limited anniversary box set. Oh yeah, that would be the... So this was what, the 6th album by the band. Yeah, another interesting band to listen to their sort of music influence arc, or what sort of stuff they were playing. Yeah, when I was doing the quick pass through, I was trying to remember if I bought this album or not. I don't remember. I had the first 2 albums, the third not sure, but I recognise a lot of the tracks off of it. Although this was a single, so that might be why, because this would have been played on UK radio, definitely. There's a Window Licker EP by Aphex Twin. Didn't really listen to Aphex Twin until a little bit later, I don't think. I was trying to remember when I bought the Ambient album. There's also a really cool, I don't know when they came out, there was a series of DVDs that were released that showcased the work of various video producers. And on one of those, there's some Aphex Twin stuff, including Come to Daddy, which is a very disturbing video. I'm trying to remember what was on the Window Licker stuff. It was literally, just... That's funny. Yeah, I don't even remember if there was a... I suppose it will tell me there, will it? If there was a... I don't think there was a... There's a music video. Oh, there, Chris Cunningham, that's who I was trying to think of. So, yeah, there must be... Yeah, I think there is actually. Yeah, I'm trying to think what what video, what tracks, what videos were on that Chris Cunningham DVD. I know All Is Full of Love by Bjork was on there. See, now we've gone off at a bit of a tangent here. I wonder if he's going to mention... I should stop. I should dig that out, that DVD, and watch it. It's pretty cool. Oh yeah, Monkey Drummers on it as well. That's it. It doesn't really mention here. Yeah. Okay, here we go. I think this is it. Yeah, director's label. So these, yeah, these are really cool if you can track them down. If you're interested in video work by certain music video directors. So pretty sure, yeah, I've got this one. The Nissan commercial with boards. Yeah, I need to watch that again. The book, I forgot there's a booklet, isn't there? Oh yeah, the Michael Gondry one's really cool as well because it's got the hardest button to button on it as well. Oh well, I didn't even think I'd go down this rabbit hole. I'd completely forgotten about that. That's yeah. I don't know how easy it is to get those DVDs actually now, but they're really cool. If you like, I went through a period of being really into music video stuff, and yeah, so I think I've got 3 of them. Maybe I should, yeah, I'll have to remind myself to do My Life in Objects. I'll just dig them out. I mean, I can't really show, play them, but I can obviously show the stuff on camera and the sort of thing you got with it, and chat a little bit about them some more probably. Okay, where are we? What else do I see here? See, it's interesting. There's a lot of bands that were big at that time that were on a, probably top of their game, whatever you want to call it, like Static X and Filter, and there was another one I saw pop up who I was aware of, but I just didn't check out their music at all. Or there's bands like this, like Mogwai, who are a post-rock band. And I didn't check them out until a lot later because I didn't really get into bands like Explosions in the Sky and probably bands like that and Godspeed until well into the 2000s. So yeah, I completely and again, there's at that point in time, there was only resource-wise so much music you could listen to because the only way of listening to it was to buy. Excuse me. Oh, 1999. The other thing I was going to say, the big film of that year would have been The Phantom Menace. Yeah. Yeah. So this is notable because this is the first album, or the album before Lamb of God changed their name to Lamb of God from Burn the Priest. So yeah. So sort of ground zero. We got some KMFDM stuff. What album's that? 10th one, because they've been kicking around quite a lot. Yeah, there's I'm trying to think when I first really got into industrial metal. It probably would have been it's sometime in the mid-90s, maybe. I'm trying to think when the... Yeah, no, it would have been sometime earlier in the 90s, thinking about it. Because I can remember listening to... what's it called? I'm trying to think of the name of that Ministry album, actually. With New World Order in it and Just One Fix. Probably around then, so... But there's lots of other bands. I had some sort of industrial metal sampler which had KMFDM on it, and there was like a consolidated track on there probably, and bands like Chrome and a few others actually. So that's how I sort of became aware of a slightly wider repertoire of bands. This is a different Ghost. Mine is Self-Indulgence. What were they on by then? The debut album? Okay. I didn't really discover them until quite a bit later, actually. So it would have been sometime after... Is it an album called something like Frankenstein Girls Are Sexy or something like that? Yeah, sometime after that. Second Children of Bodom album, didn't really check them out much at the time. There's the EP I was mentioning from AFI. Oh, first Black Label Society album. Times of Grace, this was a big album from this year. Sixth studio album by Neurosis. I'm trying to think when I first became aware of them, probably just after Silver in Blood. Yeah, post-metal band, super heavy. Again, yeah, interesting to sort of see the sort of sonic development of them over time. So yeah, this bit of a switch of genres here. I really like this album, Hush, The Hush by Texas. It's got Summer Sun on it. ATR, they're up to their third album by then. Hadn't really discovered, I retrospectively discovered Lamb, so they're like they're a trip hop band. Really good, yeah. But I'm not sure when they started. 96, so they're a little bit, I suppose, a little bit later than some of the other trip hop bands. If you go back to bands like Massive Attack and bands that are associated with the Bristol trip hop sound. But I've always thought of them as being a little bit later, maybe. But really good. There's what I like about them is there's like a nice jazz influence in there, which may not be quite so noticeable by some of the other trip hop bands that sort of came before them. Yeah, third album. When did I get into them? Oh, High Visibility. So yeah, I didn't start listening to them until 2000, 2001, I don't think. It got Play by Moby came out. I remember buying that when it came out. That had... What was the big track on that? Porcelain, Why Does My Heart Feel So Bad? Body Rock. Yeah. Oh, this, yeah. I bought that when it came out. In Flames, so one of one of that cluster of Gothenburg melodic death metal bands. So what would it be? Yeah, At the Gates, Dark Tranquillity, and In Flames. And So yeah, an interesting band again because of their sort of sonic development. So at this point, still playing melodic death metal. So yeah, I bought that, Clayman, and I did see them. I'm pretty sure, when was it? Around this time. They did play Halifax, Nova Scotia, and I can't remember who they were supporting, because I know at some point Opeth played here and Catatonia and In Flames played, and I can't remember in terms of like In Flames whether they were headlining, and I can't remember if they played what's called the Cunard Centre. Yeah, but yeah, they've sort of, you know, again over time, if you look at, you know, use this just as a yardstick and work your way through, you know, they started to blend in like a lot of bands of, you know, that movement, that sort of genre or geographical area. They've sort of blended in a lot more sort of alternative metal influences, and yeah, because I'm pretty sure we'll get to it. There was a Catatonia album out that year, and same thing happened with them. Over time. Oh look, there's a. Oh no, it's a reissue. Sorry, I was going to say it's Dark Tranquility album. Code Red by Sodom. I think I bought that the following year. They're a German thrash metal band. They would be one of the original ones. Big Four of Teutonic thrash metal, Creator, Destruction and Tankard. But the first band that I listened to in that sort of regional thing, regional cluster, would have been Creator. I don't know, probably around the time of Pleasure to Kill or something like that. Of course, Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park, their debut EP. Didn't pick up on them until one of their tracks turned up on a film soundtrack, I think. Was that right? Yeah, I'm trying to, but basically I remember buying the second album by them when it came out. Yeah. Meteora, 2003. So I wonder what is it gonna. I'm sure one of these tracks was on in a film, wasn't it? Not sure then. Doesn't really say, does it? I don't think. Gadget is a bit quick. It might mention it here. Yeah. Not sure then. Yeah. Don't know. If anybody can remember, or maybe I've misremembered, what Linkin Park tracks have ended up on soundtracks, let me know in the comments. Oh yeah, this one. The singles were all over the UK charts. So yeah, definitely bought that when it came out. I'm also trying to remember, it might be even one where I've had both the cassette and the CD, but not sure. Yeah, I remember that coming out. Yeah, so I was still adding the... Sorry, I was still buying the odd cassette now and again, actually. So I probably bought that on cassette, maybe. Debut studio album. And that's the one, isn't it, with... what's the one that's... Is that the one that was sampled? Yeah. Stan. So Stan has the sample on it, doesn't it? Is that here with me? Life for Rent. Second studio album. Isn't there a connection to, thinking about it, I thought there's a connection between Dido and Massive Attack. Thank you, sorry, yeah. So it's, yeah, the track Thank You. That's what I was trying to think of. Okay. So where's that on the album? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Ah, that, oh yes, there's, now it's all coming back to me. So there's a connection as well. Rollo is from Faithless. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, I'm getting muddled up in my memory. So yeah, that's the connection. So Dido is Rollo's. There's Dido. There's Rollo. Younger sister. Okay, yeah. Faithless. Cool. Yeah, that was it. So not Massive Attack, but Faithless. Yeah, because I think there's a Faithless track I think she sang on. So by this time, Ministry are up to Dark Side of the Spoon, which I haven't listened to. I must confess. Oh, Mr. Scruff. Oh, Madonna's third album by then. That's the first Lacuna Coil album, actually. Came out in 1999. And this, which I don't think I bought until the following year, because I don't think it made... yeah, I can't remember what what year it made the best of albums for Terrorizer. There's a bit of a strange thing happening there based on... Yeah, so it was released in 2000 in the UK, so I think it got quite high in the charts in 2000. End of year for them. But that was my first Sigur Rós album that I listened to, and yeah, but that wasn't until like a year or so after it came out. Wouldn't be the sort of band I'd probably stumble across any other way. So debut White Stripes album came out in '99. Missy Elliott, second album. Second Limp Bizkit album in '99. I can't remember what's the one big track off of that one. Break Stuff. What's on this one? Take a look around. Rolling, that was it. Okay, so Rolling's the next album after that. There's the debut Slipknot album, which now I come to think of it, I was listening to the Friday Rock Show, or some version of it that may not have even been on a Friday night anymore, because they played Wait and Bleed, Spit It Out on there actually. What's it? Yeah, I didn't buy this album until quite a while after it came out, I don't think. Oh yeah. Third Burning Bridge Arch Enemy album. Last one with Johan Lever on it. Before Angela came in. Now that has that interesting track. So one of these, and I noticed when I listened to it, I think it's this album, the solo is a direct rip almost of or parts of it off of like of a Jakey Lee. I think there's like parts of Bark at the Moon or something like that on one of these tracks. I can't remember which one. I'm trying to remember which one has Fields of Desolation on it. There's a Fields of Desolation 99. Was Fields of Desolation on? Yeah, Black Earth. So I may have bought Black Earth before I bought Burning Bridges. Not sure. And then lost track a little bit with the band, and then picked them up quite a bit later and sort of infilled some of the later albums like Wages of Sin, not that album, probably Anthems of Rebellion, maybe Doomsday Machine. Yeah, we've also got a later one by them whenever. So there's a really good live DVD around the time of Rise of the Tyrant that's worth tracking down. But I did get a later one. I think I have that one. So with Jeff Loomis on it. So at what point did Alyssa come in? Yeah, so this is when Alyssa took over. And who was on this one? Oh yeah. Yep. Classic lineup. Yeah, if you've never checked out Arch Enemy, I've seen them live. I'm trying to think whether I've just seen them once or twice. Maybe once, and I think they were supporting. Yeah, I have trouble remembering whether it was supporting Machine Head or supporting Arch Enemy. Supporting Opeth, but in the UK at the Brixton Academy back in, well, it would have been, I don't know, 2007, sometime around then, maybe, when I was still in the UK. Jaws of Death by Primal Fear. Early Behemoth, fourth studio album, because they've been kicking around quite a while. People forget, I think. Never listened to this band at all. Pod, Payment on Demise. There's Filter. Didn't listen to that. Oh, Live in Berlin. Oh, and this, yeah, I remember this when it came out. Oh yeah, and definitely bought this. I was in a, big Catatonia Jag at the time. From really would be, Brave Murder Day, skip the EPs, and then got Discouraged Ones, Tonight's Decision, Last Fair Deal Down, Viva Emptiness. I can remember buying them fairly early on, so I normally got, with several of these, got quite nice CDs, either a nice sort of booklet style case or what they call clamshell, I think. I don't know if I bought this though, I can't remember. And then I was lucky enough to see them in Halifax sometime in the 2010s, as I think I mentioned earlier. I think they were supporting Opeth, because I've seen Opeth twice now. It was better when I saw Opeth the second time. The sound was a lot better. I've never liked the sound at the Brixton Academy, and I saw Opeth at the Brixton Academy. The sound wasn't great, but when I saw them at a smaller venue in Halifax, probably at some ice rink or somewhere, or like multi-purpose hall, much better sound. Second album by Amon Amarth. Second album by Cold Chamber. So yeah, there's quite a few like new metal bands that are a little bit deeper into their catalogue now. And where are we up to with Saxon? 14th studio album. Okay. Chris Cornell's got his solo album out. The Fragile by 9 Inch Nails. I think I had that, but I'm not sure. Where does that occur in their chronology? So, I had that, and Fixed and Broken, and then retrospectively bought Pretty Hate Machine. I much prefer sort of this period of 9 Inch Nails for some reason. I don't know why. But I can't remember if I was still buying their stuff by this point. Not sure. Don't have strong memories of that. But certainly I do with the Downward Spiral. World Coming Down, so Typo Negative were on their 5th album by then. But I wasn't really keeping up with them. I got into them around the time of October Rust, just after then, and then sort of infilled their back catalogue. So I don't think I bought much after that. Yeah, so October was what, their 4th studio album. So I have stuff before that on the CD. But I don't have anything after it. Now this one, yeah, this I do have, pretty sure. Because I'd bought the EP. It's funny, it's this EP and an album by Enslaved, I can't remember which one it was, were the first things I ever bought on Amazon. Someone had given me an Amazon gift voucher to send to me. I didn't have an Amazon account, so I had to set it up to spend it. And I went in, the first things I bought were Under the Running Board and an Enslaved album. And then in sometime 99, 2000, I bought Calculating Infinity. And that was about the depth of my sort of going into the mathcore rabbit hole at that point. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I hadn't really picked up on Muse by then. But it was a bit later. No Use for a Name. I discovered them because there was a free CD that was when I signed up for a year of a Terrorizer subscription. There was some sort of No Use for a Name compilation album, which I can't remember which one it was, that was given away. That's the only thing I own by them. Oh yeah, I remember this album, Still Life, by Opeth. I think I bought that the following year. That's basically how I got into them. And there was an Anathema album out this year as well, Judgment, which I bought when it came out. But I haven't seen it yet. Maybe I've accidentally gone by it. But I remember seeing it reviewed in Terrorizer in the sort of month it came out and thinking, oh, I really need to check that band out. And so that's my sort of album I got into them, and then I infilled backwards all their earlier stuff. I'd already been listening to sort of, other members of the Peaceville Three, so My Dying Bride and Paradise Lost by then, but Anathema I hadn't really listened to up to that point. And I remember I saw the Alternative 4 album when it came out and thought, oh yeah, I really need to check them out. And then they got to Judgment and I started listening to them. Because I can remember at that point, like when I was driving around various places, I'd like stop off in the town centres and go and check out CD stores, and, see what they had there. I think there was Burning Red by Machine Head came out this year as well, which was the album that I bought by them. Again, I'd sort of seen them in Terrorizer. Someone I worked with had been on about them, and finally ended up buying their album. Although I don't think necessarily Burning Red is the most representative of their stuff, but it's a cool album nonetheless, and it's got a cover of Message in a Bottle, I think, on it by The Police. Pretty cool cover of that. But I've not seen it yet come up here. I remember this album getting played a lot on the radio. This band, Savage Garden, get played a lot on radio too. Oh, Top Loader. Yeah, that's another band I didn't really listen to. So there's all these like, what would you call them? Like post Britpop bands that are in the charts. Sort of post Britpop alternative rock bands from the UK that were getting, you know, regular plays on UK radio. And then, yeah, this album as well, Spit by Kitty. I didn't buy it. I don't think I bought it when it came out, but I remember it being played. Like I said, now I remember that. Yeah, I was listening to the Friday. Some version of the Friday Rock Show was still going. I do have this album. So this has got, yeah, John Garcia on it from KS. How is it? They were a band, KS, who I was pretty late to the party with. By this point, by this year, Korn were on their 4th album. Yeah, I sort of really clued into them around the time of Life is Peachy. Yeah. The DeFranco album. Not somebody I didn't become aware of them until a lot later when they played Halifax in the 2010s. Oh yeah, this would be the 3rd Emperor album. There we go. Wow. A lot of stuff there. So it would come as no surprise I was mainly listening to extreme music. Let me just have a quick look. Anything that 3 Inches of Blood had formed. So, first Akalok album, Akakoki had something out. Oh, there's Anathema Judgment, yeah. That's a really cool album. If you've never listened to that album, yeah. I think that is probably my favourite Anathema album, actually. Power Cosmic, that was their 4th album. I think I've got the 2nd and the 3rd albums by them. Pal Sagoth. From the Cradle to Enslaved EP by Cradle of Filth. That actually didn't that have a really early Anathema cover on it? Yeah, Sleepness. So from the first Anathema album that was originally on when Darren White was their singer. What were Godflesh up to in the 5th album? They must be pretty close to have breaking up by then, weren't they? Yeah. Because what was Jason Broderick's spin-off band? Was it Silver, I think? No, hang on. Is that right? Was that the name of the album? Anyway, yeah. I can probably check. Jason Broderick is now in... That's it, sorry, Yizu. That, yeah. I have that EP from 2006. That's what made me think of Silver. Oh, Razorblade Romance. I must have skipped over that by him. Yeah, I remember those are the sorts of videos that were getting a lot of play on MTV, stuff like that. That may well have been the other. I mean, although I didn't have access to cable, when I did go places that did and were playing music videos, there was a few bands that's how I became aware of them, and I think him was one of them. Definitely. Oh yeah, there we go, The Burning Red by band's second best-selling album in the US. Yeah, that came out as well. Light at the End of the World. They got quite a bit heavier on that, because previous to that, this album was really trip-hoppy and very soundtracky. So real big contrast between the two. And this band have changed a lot. So we're going to come across Paradise Lost in a moment as well, because by them, they'd really... So the previous album, Paradise Lost, where are they? Oh, maybe they didn't release an album that year. For some reason, I thought they released Host. Okay. Vision of Disorder. Anybody else here that grabs my attention? I think so. Well, one that we haven't seen already. About Dreaming Neon Black and Times of Grace. Because by this time, let me have a quick look, seeing as I mentioned it. Paradise Lost. They'd gone down a bit of a Depeche Mode rabbit hole, which isn't a bad thing. It was pretty. So 1 second from '97. That's when I started listening to them and filled in their stuff. And then, so when did Host come out then? Yeah, it was '99. I thought so. So yeah, that's why it's not in the metal section, because they'd gone really quite far out into electronic rock and dark wave and gothic rock. I don't think I know any of the tracks off of that. Yeah, no, I sort of lost track a little bit at this point. So I sort of bought that album and then infilled with a load of stuff, and then didn't really carry on. But I should listen to that actually at some point. So there we have it. Hopefully you've enjoyed that rather rambly video. Where I needed to get 1999 music out of my system, and I felt that doing a video would be a good way to do that. So thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in a future video.